So a while back I made some kegs for a tavern. We're going to use those same principles today to make a larger barrel to be used in a kind of cargo setting. Now this is a simple wine cork. This is kind of a display one that I got in a bin of corks from Michael's. It is about 1.5 inches long by 3/4 of an inch wide, and I think it's going to work out pretty nicely for this application. Now I want a model to be able to stand behind this but still be partially visible, so I'm going to trim the cork down to be approximately 1 inch in length. Now, cork is pretty easy to cut, so you should be able to just kind of slice through this even if your blade is a little bit dull. And I'm just doing kind of like a little saw motion and kind of rocking the cork back and forth to just kind of glide the blade through it. Now, I took a few off-cut trimmed pieces that I'm going to use for the top and bottom of the barrel. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video for a quick sneak peek on next week's video. While the hot glue gun is heating up, I'm going to sand down the top and bottom of the cork just to make sure that the ends are perfectly flat. Then, starting in the center and gluing outward from there, I'm going to tack down my planks to create the top and bottom of the barrel. Alright, so there we go. Nice, quick, simple, and easy. Now, I don't know where my cutters are, but you could absolutely use some clippers to trim the ends of the planks just to kind of bring them a little bit closer to flush, and then using a hobby knife and trim the edges so that everything kind of lines up with the sides of the cork. Now, like I said, I don't know where my cutters are, or I would be doing that, so I'm just doing a quick trim with the hobby knife that I've got here. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So now we can repeat this process on the other side. And once again, let the hot glue dry a little bit and then clip the edges off. Now this will add a little bit of length to the barrel, but it still should keep it pretty close to 1 inch in length. Alright, once everything is flush with the sides of the barrel, we can cut some side planks from some coffee stirrer sticks to attach to the outside of the barrel. Now, since the barrel is just about 1 inch, I cut these to be 1 1/8 inches in length, and that's going to give us a little bit of an overhang. I'll tack this one into place real quick and kind of show you what I mean. So you see the little overhang there, and that'll give us that kind of iconic recessed top and bottom appearance that you see on most barrels. And then it's just a simple matter of line of hot glue, add a plank, line of hot glue, add a plank, all the way around the side. Now, the size of the cork that I'm using means that I need approximately 12 planks to go all the way around. The number of planks that you're going to use is going to vary depending on the size of the cork that you end up having. I did have some that were larger, and I might use those to make like a massive wine barrel for like a cellar setup or something like that later on, but I'm not quite sure at this moment. Now, as you get closer to the end, you might notice that the area is a little bit too wide or a little bit too narrow to add in your final plank, or you might need an extra plank. In this case, I need an extra plank, but not a full-sized one. So I'm just going to take one spare plank and split it down the middle, and that should fill the gap nicely. There we go. Nice and snug. Alright, so now I'm going to take the sandpaper and just do a quick sanding of the top and bottom edges, just to make sure all the planks are flush with each other. And then using the sandpaper, I'll do a quick sand of the sides, just to kind of remove some of the raised edges in between where the planks touch each other. This will round out the barrel just a little bit, but still give us all the nice grooves for the planks. Now it's time to add some metal strapping around the outside of the top and bottom of the plank, and I'm going to use a little bit of HVAC tape, and I'm just going to cut a couple of little strips off. Now I'm kind of eyeballing the length of these strips. They're approximately 1/8 of an inch in width. And now to apply it around the top. And I'm seeing that I have a problem here. The tape is not long enough. Well, that serves me right. Forgot to measure. Okay, so just grab a slightly longer piece of HVAC tape, and again, cut a couple of strips. Make sure that they are kind of eyeballed at the same 1/8 inch thickness, and this one should be good now. Yeah, that's definitely better. Alright, so I've got a little bit of an overhang here, so I can just kind of clip that off. And there we go. Nice metal strap around the top of the barrel. So now that I know that this is a good length, I'll trim off another section, and then add a strap to the bottom. Now once this tape goes on and the glue on the tape kind of sets, it'll be very difficult for these straps to come off, so you don't need to worry about gluing them in place. Since they're HVAC tape, they are designed to hold on in a variety of different conditions, including wet weather. So these are definitely going to stay on without having to do anything extra. And now to kind of paint it up a little bit, we're going to give it that kind of wood-stained appearance. And I found that Skeleton Horde from Citadel does that job really, really nicely. So I'm just going to take a little bit of some Citadel Skeleton Horde paint and do a light coating all the way around the barrel. Now this looks a little bit bright on camera, but it actually looks a little bit darker than this off camera. So it has a really nice, rich, kind of stained oak appearance. Alright, sides are good. Now I can apply on the top and bottom. And just like that, we've got a barrel. This entire process didn't take all that long. Aside from the cutting of the planks, I think it took maybe 15 minutes to assemble all together. Add in the cutting, maybe a half hour to make a barrel. And here we are with the finished product. Tune in next week and I'll show you how I made this little flame effect for a model sword. So thank you everyone for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment down in the comments section, and we will see everyone next episode.